morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever and wherever you all. And welcome back to the beta plan playing Shadowrun. So, I was doing my usual thing, wanted to, well, get some money for the stuff that we did and, perhaps get some new spells. After all, I increased our willpower and our spellcasting. But when I came into, my humble adobe, the group is waiting for me. Well, predicting some important plot reveal, so I thought I'd turn the camera back on, so to speak. You enter the trawler to find your crew gathered together waiting for you. Isnobel has her head buried in her PDA. The rest of them stand watching her, trying to be patient. Isnobel, you look like you have something to tell the class? The dwarf paces up and back, trying to decide how to begin. I've been doing my homework on Josephine Tang and Sam Mechanical Services. Well, spill it. Okay, smoke 'em if you got 'em, because there's a lot to go over. Isnobel lifts her PDA to her face and consults her notes. Well, here we go then. Get ready for another exposition galore. In 2011, Tsang Mechanical Services was a D-level corp floundering in the shallow end of the Hong Kong corporate pool. Yeah, we learned about this also on the computer before. After all, they built Kowloon City and, well, they got a lot of money for that. Though they also sought property of their own in order to complete the project. I'm smelling a cover-up. That's when Josephine Chu married into the family. Josephine thought big. She conceived of a massive project that would catapult TMS into the big time. Something she called the Prosperity Project. That word was used also by Raymond Black. Prosperity? That's what Raymond was mumbling about. And once again, the beta plan is going ahead of the game. What does that have to do anything with Raymond? It has nothing whatsoever to do with Raymond Black. It has everything to do with Edward Tsang. Oh dear, is Raymond Black a cover-up name? Is Raymond Black actually Edward Tsang? You got it. Duncan's jaw drops open. What? No. Come on! Raymond Black is actually Edward Tsang, the only son of Josephine Tsang and her late husband, Breakwater Tsang. So our secret foster grandmother is trying to kill us. It looks that way, yeah? Rector chuckles softly to himself. Secret grandmother? What the hell is going on, Isnobel? Start from the beginning. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time in the 1900s, the walled city was a densely populated slum. Something like 30,000 people crammed into 6.5 acres. Wait. I've heard the story before, it's a shithole, hell on earth, yada yada yada. That's today's walled city, the second walled city. The first walled city started life well over 100 years ago and lasted through both world wars and almost through the Awakening. It was torn down in 1994 when the government had finally had enough. It had become such a haven for criminals that the cops would only enter it in large, well-armed groups. That sounds familiar. In 2021, Josephine Tsang proposed a vision for a new type of low-income housing project, the Prosperity Project. A self-contained, low-cost walking neighborhood for the poor, but on a grand scale. The Prosperity Project would give Hong Kong's poor and the flood of refugees pouring into the country a place where they could call their own. Something that felt more permanent than the sprawling tent city that spontaneously sprang up after the first walled city was demolished. That doesn't sound like the walled city we have been to. Isnobel responds as flat as a board. No kidding. The Prosperity Project would replace the tent city and would be symbolically built on the site of the old walled city. The slogan was, a place of dignity where prosperity begins. And ends apparently. The apartments were much bigger than the space you would get in your average coffin motel, but They were built around plazas and marketplaces that contained goods and services catering to the poor. Oh, weren't much bigger, sorry. Like a drug dealer and prostitutes. This sounds like the first walled city. The government forgot the lessons of the last walled city. They loved the idea of containing the refugees and the poor to only a few densely populated blocks. It kept them out of the public eye. Kept the tourists happy too. Isnobel gives Gobbet a flat shut up expression. Gobbet smirks in reply. Securing the walled city job was the first step toward Tsang becoming what it is today. Toward putting Josephine Tsang on the executive council. Wait. That doesn't line up. How did she get so powerful by building a slum? It wasn't the slum that made her rich. From what I've read, the walled city's job was a disaster. And that's also what we read. By all accounts, her prosperity project should have landed her in the poorhouse. That wasn't what happened though. As the walled city went up, TMS landed contract after contract. Huge, lucrative ones. Nobody knows why. And those were the jobs that propelled TMS into the big time. Did she stumble upon something in the walled city then that gave her mind control powers? Yes, conspiracy theory! So, where's Raymond coming in all this? Thank you, by the way, Duncan, that you just arrived so I can continue with this voice. Not Raymond. Edward. Edward Tsang was in charge of laying the groundwork for the walled city. Excavation and utilities. Running in power lines, sewage, that kind of thing. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Remember that massive grey water leak that flooded the basement back in 48? When we got back from that camping trip in Salish, Ray screamed bloody murder about that. Wu nods, smiling. I've never seen him so angry. He sobers. But did Raymond know how to fix it? No. Ray didn't know the first thing about sewer lines. He hired a small army of plumbers, probably paid them double what the job was worth to fix the thing, and still took almost 2 months to get the leak under control. And Josephine put him in charge of the utilities? No wonder the walled city smells like that. I don't like Raymond. I don't think. Oh, and now she does use the Raymond. Whatever. I don't think Raymond has anything to do with the utilities of the walled city. So, if this is the man not in charge of the utilities for the project, what was he doing down there? I don't know. But Edward Tsang disappeared from the public eye shortly after Prosperity was completed. Around 2031. That's about the time he moved to Seattle. Around 7 years before he found us. But, what happened in the walled city? And what would make Raymond want to go back in there now after all these years? I don't know, but I intend to find out. Well, oh, and that little piece of information actually gives us karma, and we apparently can talk to Kaichu. Let's see, we can also talk to others perhaps. Perhaps we are missing in-between conversations. I might do that indeed. But, I mean, there is development of the people in between. But let me show you first what I constantly do off screen. I think that is perhaps for once a little nice show. Wow, we are already, almost with every mission we get new messages. And, well, they can be about anything. About getting new jobs. Or about, probably this. Kindly change to Deathclaw. I'm not in Hayoi right now, so don't bother coming to see me. We'll talk when I return. Please continue with our business ventures in the meantime. Interesting. And there's data retrieval. Also kindly change again. I hope you are enjoying your newfound success in the shadows. I've got another job for you, one that would prove very lucrative indeed. I've been contracted by the employee of the Eastern Tiger Corporation, and he needs you to steal some research data and biological samples from his employer. The man's name is Tigard Wright. Until recently, he was a researcher on a genetic engineering project. He was cagey about him with the details, but I gather that it's centered around the phenotypic alteration and postnatal genetic enhancement. For people who don't know genetics, I actually do. Phenotypic alteration. Phenotypic means the way you look.
or the way something looks, let me put it better. It could be how a bacteria looks, but it can also be you as a human. And postnatal, this is after birth, genetic enhancement. Well, I don't need to explain that. By the way, that is completely bullshit, because... yes, you grow. Well, not completely bullshit. But... genetic enhancement, your organs have already been grown. It's really hard to make something better if it's already there by replacing genes. Anyway, unfortunately for Wright, he's got a conscience, stupid man. Lucky for us, he's willing to pay to have his conscience assuaged? Wright's project was apparently quite horrible. Experiments on living children, total disregard for biomedical's ethics of safety. And when Wright raised concerns, he was taken off the project. He's decided to step outside the bounds of the law and expose their wrongdoing to the world. The snag, you see, is that his wife and child live in Seoul. Not quite the heart of the Eastern Tiger's power, but close enough. He's afraid that if he releases the information himself, that will be taken prisoner and used as leverage. The idiot should have thought of that before, but that's not our problem. The sample and data are currently on Eastern Tiger cargo ship, the MV Nelchi, sailing near Hong Kong on their way to Seoul. The storm slowed the ship down, so you don't have to go right away, but don't take too long. Once you have the data and samples, you're to call Wright. I've attached his number, he'll give you the instruction how he wants the information leaked. When you're ready, let me know. I'll arrange a transit with Captain Yomo. We'll also take the run. Alright, go back. So now we have a lot of things that we need to do. We have... this isn't updated yet. We have to go to Repulsive Bay for the blackmail thing of the kindly Cheng's friend that we met in the Mayong parlor, as well as the Aris Asia Holdings facility to plan the data. And for this we had to be really quiet for the first one. For the second one we could go loud, but it might give us a lot of fighting. And for some reason we don't see this one popping up. That is odd. Alright. Well, other things we do is Shadowlands. This is where we post pay data that we found, for instance, in the Matrix. Claim payment for the museum's shipping manifest. And that gives you a bit of Nugent. And seeing we haven't done a run, we don't have any pay data to sell, so. Open a job claim for low kidnapping. The client is pleased with how you handled the situation. Mr. Liu has been very contrite and forthcoming due to no small part to the violence which you handled the opposition. You've earned a little extra for taking out the talon. Your payment is attached. Actually, then it might have been good if we did not spike the prawn into the stuff. View all active jobs. Urgent task. Oh, so the Ares also has some stuff. And attending a party we know? Alright, well, we're gonna walk away. Now it's updated. Alright then. I also, by the way, updated our, our team. And by that I mean I upgraded them. Gobbet can now have her Shine Spirit stay in 3 turns instead of 2. It was really a toss-up because this is also pretty good that the Poison Fog takes AP damage away, does AP damage when people walk through it, but it is a rather small area, so in the end, after much deliberation, I took this one. I think they're both equally good, most likely. This is the one where the 40% faster walk speed, I talked about this before, this is for meat space. We mainly use Isnobel for the Matrix. Also look at it, Biotech +2, Body +1, Quickness +1, Range Combat. Look at how much she gains. In comparison to Rector, who only gains 3 stuff, Isnobel gains a huge amount of bonuses. Look at it. I don't have enough karma to do all this. That's something what I feel is a little bit unfair towards your feeling. If you would make a Decker, you would almost never be the equal of Isnobel, also certainly because he has all these unique powers, and certainly with his boost program. 40% faster speed. Perhaps now he will not get caught. I completed with Duncan with the crowd control thing, so now we have an extra strong flashbang. We made our ghoul a little bit, well, I consider it vampiric, because he can now bite his foe, and he sucks the blood out of it in order to gain HP and strength. I like it. Also does AP damage, by the way. And Rector, yes, his overclock ability, now the drone does +2 AP and +2 movement. Nice! But you see, some people, he gains 3 abilities, he gains 4 abilities. I mean, I can handle that, but look at the amount that Duncan, Isnobel, and Gobbet gain. It's like crazy amounts of upgrades. But then again, we are no slouch ourselves. Bioware 6, Body 6, Strength 6, Close Combat 6, and Willpower and Spellcasting 5. And now we have 4. Again, perhaps it is time to raise our quickness and dodge. Because they have been slouching a little bit. You know what? I think this is a good amount of karma to actually spend on that. I mean, we're going to have to do it eventually. And we're nowhere near enough to increase our willpower. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Voila. We spent all our karma and now we have dodge too. At least then we have a little bit more chance to avoid damage. I don't think this is a bad idea. So, let's talk to Gaichu. The storage room that functions as Gaichu's cabin is cramped, overheated mess. Pile of old ship parts share space with tarnished cookware? Why is cookware in here? Flats of instant noodles, a collection cast of clothes, and reams of diagnostic manuals for obsolete computer hardware. To top it all, there's barely any light whatsoever. All the bulbs in this room are missing. Gaichu is busy moving boxes around, apparently in an effort to carve out some personal space amid the junk that he shares his cabin with. As you enter, he cocks his head and turns around. Welcome to my sanctuary, Darkclaw. I apologize for the lack of light, but I did not need it. Gopher took the bulbs for use elsewhere. Gaichu puts down the box that he is in the process of moving and politely bows his head towards you. How can I be of assistance? What do I think of the bolt hole? I'm not even sure. Oh, that's probably the ship itself. Well, let's ask about that. Gaichu glances towards the ceiling. After a moment, he extends a hand, palm up. A single drop of leaking oil falls into it. I am shocked that it has not sunk or drowned us all, to be perfectly honest. But it is as much of a home than anywhere else. I have stayed in Hong Kong, and I am certain fewer people will stumble upon me and try to kill me. For now, it will suffice. Oh! You know what? I'm sure that everybody is curious about this. Let's do that also here in this episode. I need to talk to you about your condition, being a ghoul. Gaichu inclines his head. As you wish. You are my benefactor, and as such, I yield to you. Ask them, and I will do my best to answer. Oh, I didn't know he was blind. Yes, it seems like his condition is stabilized, unlike most ghouls. For now it has. I will not suddenly become a ravenous beast lurking in the hold of your ship, at least. No more so than I already am. Gaichu bears his teeth in a wry grin, dipping his head a little. So, your armor is heavier than most Shadowrunners wear, and more distinctive too. Gaichu nods, growling his assent. That is correct. It is the armor worn by the elite soldiers of the Renraku corporate military, the Red Samurai. Why would you need corporate to say Renraku Special Force if he already more or less admits that? What are the Red Samurai? The Renraku's Military Special Operations Division. The most elite that the corporation has to offer. On par with Ares Firewatch or Tyr Tangir's Ghost. Red Samurai are world-class soldiers, assigned to only the most difficult and important missions. That's armor is a rare thing for Shadowrunners to have. It's true. It is considerably less rare for a Red Samurai to have a suit of it, however, even if he goes rogue. Oh, you were a Red Samurai? Indeed. For the entirety of my adult life, I was a member of the Renraku military. Specifically, the Red Samurai. Yeah, that was clear, Gaichu. That changed relatively recently. I feel the reasons are abundantly clear. Hence, I still possess my armor, my sword, my training. They have served me well in both my previous life and in this one. Alright. Time to do some shopping off camera. I say thank you for watching, and remember, great peril, yields great beauty.